We're constantly hearing about AI transformation. And companies, they're pouring billions into this technology, expecting it to just revolutionize everything. But here's the thing. There's a huge, expensive secret hiding in plain sight. Most of these big AI projects are stalling out, or even failing completely. And the reason why? Well, it's probably not what you think.
This quote right here just completely flips the script on the whole conversation. We get so obsessed with the algorithms, the data, the processing power. But the biggest hurdle, it turns out, isn't in the machine at all. It's in the minds of the very people who are supposed to use it. And that is the central idea we're going to unpack today.
So, with that in mind, let's dive into the real challenge that so many organizations are bumping up against. We can call it the adoption gap. That giant canyon between what a new tool can do and what people will actually do with it. And this is absolutely the crucial point. You can have the most brilliant, technically perfect AI model in the world, but if your team doesn't trust it, if they don't understand it, or if they're frankly scared of it, that incredibly expensive technology is basically a digital paperweight. It delivers zero value. That gap between a tool that works and a tool that's actually used well is where transformation either happens or just dies on the vine. Okay, so if the tech isn't the problem, what is? Well, it turns out the root cause isn't buried in lines of code. It's in our own psychology. It's a human thing.
Just look at this. This slide lays out the emotional landscape of AI adoption perfectly. It's human nature, right? We resist things we don't understand. We worry about our jobs, and all that uncertainty, it just breeds fear. If we don't trust what the AI is telling us, there's no way we're going to use it for big decisions. And if the leaders are skeptical, well, that feeling just cascades down through the entire organization. At the end of the day, these aren't technical bugs we're talking about. They're human features.
Exactly. This is so much more than a simple software update. We're asking people to fundamentally change how they think and how they work, and to partner up with a technology that, let's be honest, many people believe might eventually make them obsolete. That right there is a huge emotional ask, and it requires a completely different playbook than your standard IT rollout.
So, we've established that the problem is fundamentally human. It only makes sense then that the solution has to be human too. It's really about a radical shift in strategy.
And this is the big idea right here. Instead of building the tech and then trying to kind of force people to use it, you start with the people. You design the entire strategy around their fears, their needs, and their behaviors. You do that to make sure the AI isn't just powerful, but it's also welcomed, it's trusted, and it gets woven right into the fabric of how work gets done.
Okay, this comparison is fantastic. It shows you the night and day difference between the old way of thinking and this new human-centric approach. So the old way, it's all about the tech specs, but the new way, it's all about making a real, lasting impact. The old way trains people on how to click buttons. The new way focuses on building genuine human confidence. But for me, this last one is the real game changer. The traditional approach sees resistance as a problem to be crushed. The human-centric approach sees resistance as incredibly valuable information. It's a signal that's telling you exactly where your strategy needs to be stronger.
All right, so that all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like in practice? How do you really build a strategy that puts people at its core?
It really comes down to these three pillars. First, you have to create an environment where people feel safe enough to learn, to ask questions, and even to get it wrong sometimes without fear of looking silly or being punished. Second, you have to design systems that are meant to augment, not replace, human expertise, making your best people even better at their jobs. And third, leaders have to guide this whole change with real empathy, addressing those fears we talked about head-on. And that second pillar, by the way, is quickly becoming non-negotiable. And what's really fascinating here is that this whole philosophy of keeping humans in the loop, it isn't just a good idea anymore. It's rapidly becoming a legal requirement. Take a look at this. The EU AI Act, which is a major piece of global regulation, makes this mandatory. It doesn't say employers should, it says they must provide AI literacy training. This isn't a suggestion, it's a legal obligation. So all of a sudden, compliance is this huge driver that's forcing organizations to finally take the human part of this whole equation seriously.
But listen, it's not about just ticking a box for the lawyers. Real AI literacy goes so much deeper. It's about arming people with the critical thinking skills to know when to trust an AI and, just as importantly, when to challenge it. It's about empowering them to be a true, effective human in the loop, which is absolutely essential for both safety and performance.
So what happens when you pull all of these threads together? The psychological safety, the human-centric design, the leadership, the real literacy, well, the entire goal of the project starts to look completely different.
And this right here is the narrative that wins. The goal is not to automate people out of a job. It's to build tools that amplify your best people, making them smarter, faster, and more capable. Suddenly, AI isn't a threat. It's a partner that enhances human expertise. And that's a story that builds trust instead of fear.
And when you get this right, the results really do speak for themselves. You end up with AI that actually moves the needle. You respect the skill and the autonomy of your employees. And crucially, you implement this new technology in a way that actually strengthens your company culture and values rather than chipping away at them. The bottom line, you build trust. And that's everything.
So, at the end of the day, the crucial point isn't whether your technology is ready for your organization. The real question, the one I want to leave you with, is this. Is your organization and is your AI strategy truly ready for your people?